Hello, everyone, and welcome to another free Delphian webinar. Today, I get to have the pleasure of teaching you guys about animals of long ago. And I'm really excited because it's just obviously a topic. I mean, who doesn't like dinosaurs, right? So we're going to do some reading. And then if you have tuned in for this one before, I don't think that we did any of the lessons together where we did the drawings and made the little diorama. But we're going to do that starting with this Animals of Long Ago series of lessons. So why don't we just go ahead and get started here. I'm going to share the book with you, and let's get reading. So chapter 1, Our Changing Earth. Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. It's been here for a long time. From the beginning, the Earth has been changing. For a long time, it was very hot and it never rained. We think that for the first couple of billion years, nothing lived on Earth. But many animals are still here. As the Earth changed, they did too. They might look different now from the way they did long ago, but they're still here. Millions of years ago, horses were only a foot tall. Gradually, they changed. Today, they are bigger, stronger, and faster. Here's a horse from 55 million years ago, 35 million years ago, 25 million years ago, 7 to 10 million years ago, and this is what a horse looks like today. Animals didn't change all of a sudden, like magic. It was a very, very slow change that took millions of years. They changed in ways that helped them stay alive and be safe on the changing Earth. So here's a fish that was 360 million years ago, a bird that was 66 million years ago. Here's this. This looks kind of like a dinosaur or an ostrich. So this was 125 to 66 million years ago, and this rat-looking guy, 125 million years ago. Some animals got bigger and some got smaller. Here, let me zoom in for you a little bit here. Some grew fur and others got sharper teeth. Some grew wings so they could fly. Some moved from the water to live on land, and others moved from land to live in the water. Today, there are many kinds of animals alive on Earth. Fish, birds, reptiles, horses, lions, tigers, hippos, giraffes, and so many more. They're here because they changed as the Earth changed. Here's what some of those animals in the last page might have turned into today. Here's that fish, a rat, a duck, and an ostrich. They may be different now from the way they started out, but they're still here. Okay, so here we go. We have our first page of activities. And I'm going to be doing the drawings with you guys, so everyone should have gotten a list of what they needed when you got the email for when you signed up for this webinar. So, you know, some paper and some pencils, colored pencils is all you need for this first one. Or just a pencil if that's all you have. And so we're going to go ahead and draw. And then when you're done with the drawing, what I really would love everyone to do is to take a picture of it and then email it to events@delphian.org. Yeah, that would be great. I'll remind everybody by the end of the webinar that email address. But I've done a couple of these other webinars where, you know, the students were following along and they did some drawings, but I never got to see them. And I would just really love I'd really love to see what you guys do. So let's go ahead and take a few minutes here and do this first activity. So it's draw a picture of what the Earth might have looked like millions of years ago after it cooled off and rained almost every day for years. Show which animals would live well in that kind of weather. Okay, so we can go ahead and start drawing here. As I draw, I'll show you what I'm making as we go here. And then, yeah, so after this first drawing, we'll do a second one and a third one. So we got a lot of drawing in front of us, but I really want to see what you guys make. Here, I'm not sure if you can see what I'm doing as I do it, but as I go along, I'll show you more or less what I'm doing here. So let's see. So I just drew, I mean, I'm not a terrific artist or anything, but so what the Earth might have looked like millions of years ago after it cooled off and rained almost every day for years. So I just drew some mountains. I don't know if you can see it here that well, but here, if I back up maybe, or yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but I just drew some mountains that are like, you know, the water level goes almost all the way up, since I assumed that, you know, there was just so much water on land that the sea level was probably pretty high. So so now let's go ahead and, so what kind of animals would live well in that kind of weather? So let's see here. Obviously, you know, reptiles and fish. So let's draw, I don't know, some kind of reptile here. Let's see, let me take a look at the Q&A here. So is this class going to be the same as the last one? It's the same book, but the difference is that we're going to be doing all of the activities on this one together. So as you can follow along, and you should have had a list sent to you in your email of what sort of things you need. And just for this first activity, all we're doing is drawing a picture of what the Earth might have looked like millions of years ago after it cooled off and rained every day for years. And then if you're just joining in, we're talking about, we just went over a few examples of how animals changed over millions of years. And right now we're just doing this activity like I mentioned. So let's see here. If you want to send your pictures of your drawings in to me, then just send it to this email address. It's events@delphian.org. And I really encourage you to send them. I would love to see what you do. Isaiah says, how did you get the background to look like that? Well, we're actually filming this from millions of years ago. So these are real dinosaurs. I'm a time traveler and we just froze time. So I'm just kidding. It's a green screen. How much time do we have to draw? Well, go ahead and just keep drawing until I'm done. And that should be enough. If you want to go back and add more details to your drawing later, you can go ahead and do that. But yeah, just take as long as I take, I guess, more or less. And then, just wrap it up as we continue with the reading, and then you should be fine. So right now, let's see, show which animals would live well in that kind of weather. So I'm going to draw some kind of crocodile-like creature, I think. I've never tried drawing dinosaurs before, so this is my first one ever. So don't be don't be afraid to share. I'm going to be sharing this with you, so you should feel totally comfortable to share what you draw as well. Okay, cool. Can you guys see that? You can go ahead and use the Q&A for any questions, or if you want to respond to anything I say. So there's the dinosaur. It's kind of like a reptile. It kind of looks like a crocodile or salamander or something, I guess. Okay. So let's go on to activity number 2. This is draw another picture showing what the Earth looked like many years later when it was very cold and covered in snow and ice. Show what animals would live well in that weather. Okay. That sounds good. All right, let's see here. Very cold and covered in snow and ice. Okay, I think I want to draw some mountains, again, maybe more or less the same scene, but maybe there's some, maybe the mountains are now covered in snow, and the water has turned to ice, right? Okay, so let's do something like that maybe. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's answer some questions first. Brenna says, where do I go to get a background? Well, I think we just downloaded this one from Google. We Googled dinosaur and then downloaded it. And then since we're using this computer program to do this webinar, we just put it up on our green screen here. And then let's see, Katye, you can tell me if I mispronounced your name, but you asked, how big did crocodiles used to be? That's a really good question. I actually don't know the answer to that, but maybe we'll find out as we read along in this book. Aubrey says, I'm drawing still. Okay, totally fine. Just go ahead and keep drawing. I'm gonna move on to the next drawing, and feel free to keep going on your last one. And if you guys need more time, don't just go ahead and let me know. I can always work a little extra on what I'm doing too. But if I'm taking too long, then you can tell me as well, and I'll try to speed it up a little bit, okay? Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's see. So we got some icy mountains here. Oh, Sravia says, "What are you drawing?" Sorry, I was late. Okay, no problem. What we drew in the last, we're on exercise number 2, right after reading the first chapter of this book, Animals of Long Ago. The first drawing that we did was what the Earth might have looked like millions of years ago after it cooled off and rained almost every day for years. Show which animals would live well in that kind of weather. And then number 2 was draw another picture showing what the Earth looked like. This is the one we're on right now. Draw another picture showing what the Earth looked like many years later when it was very cold and covered in snow and ice. Show what animals would live well in that weather. So let's go ahead and that's the one I'm doing right now. Just kind of drawing some ice-capped mountains, similar to the last one I drew. And we're gonna let's see. So I drew kind of like the snowy mountains, and now I need to decide what kind of animal would live well in that kind of weather. So let's see here. Well, reptiles are cold-blooded, so I could do another reptile, or let's see, maybe there's something a little different that I could draw. Like a furry, some sort of a furry animal. Yeah, let's just draw something furry and see kind of where that takes us. And that's what I'm going to do. You can do whatever you want though, as well. Okay. Okay, so let's see. What are you drawing right now? Lucas says, I'm not done with it yet. So yeah, but I'm drawing. I just drew some snow-capped mountains, and then I'm in the middle of drawing my mammal, kind of like a furry. I'm doing like a furry kind of rodent thing. It's not done yet though. I just kind of drew the outline so far. But yeah, you can go ahead and draw whatever sort of animal you think would be able to live in super icy cold environments. And if you want, you can tell me what you drew. That'd be really great. Denali says, I'm done. Very good. Katye says, a deer would work well. Very good. Nice. Jensen says, how about a woolly mammoth? That's a great idea. Of course, I should have thought of that. Very smart. Okay. Aubrey says, I did not draw a dinosaur. Okay, that's fine. You can draw a mammal or anything else that you want to draw too. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish drawing this icy animal, one that likes living in cold environments. see. Looks like we got some more Q's and A's. Let's see. Achmed says you drew the ice mountain like a 3D drawing. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, more or less. Like, there's just some mountains in front of some other mountains. I'll show you again how I did it if you want to kind of follow along with what I did. Isaiah says, what are we drawing? Right now, we're drawing like an ice, what the world looked like if it was, you know, if it was snowing and icy for a long time and like snowing every day. And so there's snow everywhere, ice everywhere. So we're going to draw the earth, what that looked like at that time. And then we're drawing an animal that would have been able to survive well and live in a world that was like that. So I chose to draw like a very furry, fuzzy kind of animal that has like a fur coat. We have somebody drawing a woolly mammoth, which is a great idea, but any kind of animal that you could think of that lived a long time ago that would be able to do well in that kind of, you know, those cold temperatures is great. Okay, Milo says to the email, very good, awesome. I look forward to seeing that, that'll be great. Lucas said, I drew a woolly mammoth and a saber-toothed tiger. Cool, that's awesome, I can't wait to see that. Ben says, hi Ben, welcome. Isaiah says, what are we drawing? Yeah, we're doing like an icy earth and what kind of animal would live well there. Aubrey says, I drew a triceratops. That's fantastic. That's really cool. I really hope you email those to me at events@delphine.org. I really, really want to see what everyone draws. Caleb says, done. Okay, perfect. Let's see. Catalea says, what are we doing again? Yeah, we're doing we're doing a like an earth that was like after the earth cooled off and it turned icy and was snowing almost every day for years. So we're drawing the earth, what it would look like, you know, if that was happening, and then we're drawing an animal that would live well at that time. Okay. Let's see. Great. Okay. I'm almost done here. So after this, I think we move on to our last drawing. Let's take a look here what we have. Ooh, yeah, it's a cool one. So let's just finish this last one, and then we can move on to the next activity. It's the last activity for this first chapter here. Okay, so I'll show you what I did to you guys. So I just drew like a fuzzy rodent looking animal, you know, and there's mountains here that have ice on them. And yeah, I was just thinking, you know, an animal with long fuzzy hair would do well in a world like that. Okay, so if you haven't finished that one yet, yeah, it does look like a dinosaur is eating my head, right? Ah! Yeah. good thing I can freeze time. So I'm safe for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this next one here. So this next activity is, okay, so suppose Earth began to get hotter and hotter. Draw a picture to show how you think very furry animals might change over many years. Okay, cool. So I can kind of maybe take my little mammal and then, and then see how it goes from there. Okay, let's see here. Oh, here's a little fact that my friend handed me here. Scientists found fossils of a crocodile from 130 million years ago that was 30 feet long. That's as big as a bus. If you can imagine that, a crocodile as big as a bus, like a school bus. That's just amazing. I wish I could see that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this next drawing. So again, it's suppose Earth began to get hotter and hotter. Draw a picture to show how you think very furry animals might change over many years. Okay, so let's see here. Brenna, are you asking about this one? I think that this is a Brontosaurus. We're going to get into the names of different dinosaurs, I think, I think it's the next chapter, if I'm not mistaken. But we do get into explaining like what are the names of all of these dinosaurs. So that'll be fun. Okay, so let's get drawing here. So Earth began to get hotter and hotter. So let's see here. Okay, let's see here. So I'll go ahead and show you what I'm doing here. Let's see. Brenna says, thanks, you're welcome. And anonymous attendee says, how much time do we have left? We have, let's see, that's a good question, actually. 10 more minutes. We have 10 more minutes, yeah. And then Brenna says that's a cool background. Yeah, thank you. It's pretty cool. So I'm still doing the mountains in the background, kind of keeping the same scene that I had before, but this time they're green because I was thinking, so as the Earth was warming up, plants probably had an easier time growing. So the mountains in the background are now, it's warm, so there's no more snow, and now there's trees and plants growing everywhere. So that's what I'm getting started with, and then I'll have to change that furry creature that I made into what it would look like after it was evolving, for millions of years as the Earth was getting hotter and hotter, and what would happen to its fur, I guess. So we'll see what happens with that one. Okay. Let's see. Got a couple more questions here. Mauricio says, what are you drawing? So I just drew some of these green mountains because the Earth is warming up and getting hotter and hotter, right? So the ice probably melted at some point in lots of parts of the Earth. So I'm drawing, lots of green, green grass and plants are starting to grow everywhere, and after all of the ice went away. And I'm just drawing a little pool of water here, and then I'll redraw my animal. I had a really fuzzy, furry animal that I drew in the last one, and I have to decide what it would look like after millions of years later as the Earth really warmed up. What would happen to its fur, right? So let's see, if anyone has any suggestions, you can let me know too. Aubrey says, I drew a penguin and a polar bear. Really good job. Awesome. I hope you send those in to me at events@delphian.org. That would be awesome. Okay. Catalia says, when is the next class? I'm not sure. I think that this one ends in 10 minutes or so, a little less than that. And then the next one starts a little bit after that. I'll see if I can get an exact time for you. Let's see. Oh, okay. So the next class is at 2:30 p.m. and that's creative writing. Excuse me. Okay. Brenna says no fur. Yeah, okay, that's a good idea. I think I'll do that. I just won't put any fur on this creature. It'll look really different. Okay, so here's my animal that I'm drawing. Similar to what I had last, but I was, since millions of years have passed, maybe he, it doesn't look so poofy anymore because he has no more fur. And, so he looks he looks different and, skinnier. So that's what I'm drawing right now. Thanks for the suggestion, Brenna. We have 2 more minutes until this is over, so that we got through the first chapter and all of the activities. And next week we'll be doing another chapter, and the activity will be it'll be putting together dinosaurs with clay and then putting them in your shoebox, maybe with some like plants and rocks, and you can put some dirt in there and sticks and make like a small area for your dinosaurs to be that you make out of clay. If you don't have any clay, an idea that I had was you can do like a cardboard cutout if you want, and draw a dinosaur on a piece of cardboard and then cut it out, and that might work for this shoebox. That might work as well. But for today, if you would all go ahead and send in your drawings to events@delphian.org, I would really appreciate it. I would just want to see everyone's creativity and see, what you've all made. That'd be really great. Okay, well, I think that's about it. I think that's about it for today. That was really fun. Here's my finished drawing. Little guy going to get some water is my last drawing. And I really hope to see you again next week for chapter 2 of Animals of Long Ago. And once more, if you did any drawings, go ahead and take a picture of it and send it into events@delphian.org. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for all of your great questions. And it was my pleasure to help teach you guys about dinosaurs today. Okay, see you next time. Bye.